want to give my money, roaches in my ashtray, and even say with your booty. The one thing I was intrigued and impressed by was that you were on them as well. It's not just. So how did you manage to be able to produce it and then feature yourself on it, singing or doing what you do vocally?
So basically, most of my beats I drop hooks on them. You know what I mean? And I say some of the most left fieldish, outlandish things on the song, like, you know, on these 40 of like, I got $19 for a lap dance, but I only got $1 for a cigarette. You know what I mean? That sound crazy. And then on a beat, and then if you make it, and you got that old sound to it, it's basically funk. You know what I mean? So I don't try to stay hard, and you know, I've done that shit. You know what I mean? I live that street life. You know what I mean? It's time to have some fun. So what I do, I just have fun on the track, and every beat I'll say 70% of the beats I do, you know, I put hooks on them. Half of the time they get chosen, half of the time they get taken off. You know what I mean? But if it's something that's grabbing somebody, they're gonna take it. You know what I mean? And I just go ahead and just say, what the hell? Let me put it on there. They might like it. And that's what I do. And 9 times out of 10, they like it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. And then
they ain't gonna do it with Too Short. I was on that, but Too Short said Too Short told me like, man, it's tight, it's dope, but I like mine simple. So he said the hook. You know what I mean? He said, but if you release it on your album, then you can put yourself back on. I said, okay, we'll bet. You know what I mean?
Well, that leads me to Blackmaster then, where you had Too Short on as well with the lean back. And one thing I thought was interesting was how he said that Hyphy ain't dead. And I wanted you to really explain that while the nation kind of got off Hyphy, that is still being made and people are still loving it up in the Bay Area. So how did you see Hyphy kind of evolve and adapt once, quote unquote, the nationwide spotlight kind of went away?
I'm gonna be real with you. When the Hyphy movement first came out, I wasn't with it. So I was more into chop and screw style sounding stuff. You know what I mean? So when I came late to the Hyphy movement. You know what I mean? Because I was just like, man, you know, I came. You know, it was too young, and I was hating on it. You know what I mean? What I shouldn't have been hating on it, because it was you know, I'm from the Bay. You know, so I jumped on. I'm not gonna lie, I jumped on the Hyphy shit late. You know what I mean? But a lot of people were dissing it because they said that we look like a bunch of clowns, and you know, that's what was pissing me off, and that's what really made me get into the Hyphy more. It's like, nah, man, it's the Bay. You know, LA got the G-Funk, South got the crunk, we got the Hyphy. Let me get back on this Hyphy and learn this Hyphy stuff. So I started, you know, rest in peace, Tracks a Million. I was getting with him, Droop-E, and you know, they was hollering at me, and you know, I was watching them and just basically learning what Hyphy was about. So really, I was a late comer to the Hyphy movement, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sit there and bullshit you. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I was always curious as to why you had that Houston project you did, but now,
yeah, because I was kicking it out there in Texas a lot. You know what I mean? And you know, I couldn't really get played out in the Bay. Really, you know, it's just they wouldn't get behind me. I couldn't get arrested on the radio station out there. So I went to Houston and started fucking with them cats out there. You know what I mean? And got a lot of love from like the core DJs and all the DJs out there, man. And I just started doing more like down south type music, you know what I mean? And got like mad love. But you know, I wasn't from around there, and I'm not going the Planet Houston, I was just showing homage to the cats in Houston because it was so much love out there with the people, the fans, the DJs and shit. So I just said, let me make this for y'all just to show that I thank y'all for letting me be on your rug. And let me just share this music with y'all. That's what that Planet Houston was about.
So what, being down in Houston, what did you learn about yourself being there?
I was getting into a lot of trouble. So, you know what I mean? So I was hanging with a lot of wrong crowd of people, but, you know, I was, you know, getting high and shit, not like on bad, like designer shit, but, you know, just, I wasn't really doing too much, but just doing music. But, you know, the culture out is, but man, it's a they together out there, man, as far as making money and pushing product and pushing just pushing their brands out there. I learned a lot out there, man. The hustles out there is real. Like they really hustle out there. You know what I mean? They going out the trunk when they, Mike Jones and them was doing that mixtape shit, man. Them niggas was coming, they was becoming millionaires doing that shit. You know what I mean? And, like Slim Thug was saying, like my folks Big Head was managing Slim Thug, and Slim Thug was making so much money. He went to, I think it was Sony or Def Jam.
Oh, he went to Geffen.
Geffen, and they offered him like 200,000. He said, "Shit, I got that in my pocket." You know what I mean? Because the hustle was real out there. So I got a lot of respect for them cats. I got a lot of respect for everybody, but when I was out there, I got a lot of respect for their hustle out there, man. They real about their shit out there. Yeah. The South, just in general, yeah.
Well, I think it's similar to the Bay. The South is similar to the Bay in the sense that the rap music industry basically shunned them, just like they shunned the Bay. And that's why that's why I think the Bay was so strong independently. That's why the South was so strong independently. And by doing that, the Bay with, City Hall or In a Minute and all these things, and then down South with all those labels and Southwest Wholesale and all the things they had, they just built their own infrastructure because they were like, New York and LA not messing with us, so we'll do it ourselves.
Right. And that's how they won. And they made a lot of money, man. They made a lot of money, man.
Yes, with much more affordable,
I feel that.
Much more affordable houses too.
Yes. The money goes longer out there, you know what I mean? The Bay, man, it's so expensive out there, man. You get a studio apartment for like $3,500 a month, man. I can't do it. I love the Bay. I love the Bay like crazy, but I can't live out there, man. Can't afford it.
Yeah. It's crazy. So where are you based now then?
I'm in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay. So back to Blackmaster. The most shocking, surprising, interesting was Ladybug Mecca. So how and why did that end up happening?
I just sampled her. That wasn't.
But how did you? I guess I should have framed it better. Given the sample thing that you learned with Def Jam, nobody came at you and they cleared. No one said nothing.
Nah. And I hope they don't see this shit either. But
my bad.
What happened was I was tripping off of E40's one of E40's songs that had Diggable Planet sample in it. You know what I mean? And so I did like the same thing, but then I spread it on my keyboard and did some altering to her voice so when it goes lower, her voice wouldn't go faster or slower. The tone just changed. You know what I mean? And so I really was trying to sell that to E40, to tell you the truth, that beat. But 40 was either finished with his project, and like 40 is hard to get in contact with too. I mean, that's my dude. I've been knowing 40 for 30 years, but man, that dude he hard to catch like a fly. You know what I mean? So I just use it myself. Lot of that Blackmaster stuff was stuff I was trying to sell, like Cocaine. I was trying to get that to Future. You know what I mean? There were songs down there with Clyde Carson on the hook. I was trying to get the Clyde. My timing was off. You know what I mean? So I just said, let me drop it and try to make some cash flow because I got to feed my kids and myself.
Yeah. Well, I will say when Rick Rock did Yay Area for 40 and then The Water for Snoop, those using the Diggable Planets were that was like super surprising to me, but I loved them because I love both those songs. Incredible. So seeing you do a similar thing, I didn't know how it worked out. So that's funny. But with the timing thing of it, what putting Blackmaster out, did that, since you've been doing stuff so long with 40 and different people, did people look at you differently putting that project out? Like, how did that affect you, if at all?
They liked it. It didn't do what I wanted it to do because I didn't have basically a budget to push it. You know what I mean? Because I was going through some financial issues. you know, so I didn't really have a budget to push it. So I just put it out there just to see what it would do. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I did shows from it and stuff like that, but you know, I didn't have no budget, man. You know what I mean? So it's out there, you know.
Right. Well,
Yeah, because
fortunately,
because I didn't want to. I'm not signing to no label. I'm not trying to do that. So I didn't did that all my life. So might as well be, you know, be broken and put it out myself. You feel me?
there you go. Okay. So then with some of the 40 stuff I wanted to talk about with the So High, one of the things that I loved on that was obviously 40 is great, but getting the how 40 and even on some of the stuff with Snoop, they're kind of dissing, not so high per se, but Snoop's kind of like dissing women, but bigging them up at the same time. Just how 40 is like saying he's better, but then also always dropping the game and flipping stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
as a producer, when you're working on a beat and you get the vocals or you're working with the artist recording or however it ends up working, when you hear like super clever lines, does that affect you at all with what you're doing with the music?
Not at all.
Hmm.
It's just I just you know, like I said, man. Not only that I produce these cats, I'm a fan of their music. You know what I mean? And they pretty much ride the beat the way I would expect them to ride it. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, 40 will be like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna rap about on this. You know, sometimes he'll take it like, I said, well, shoot, man, rap about this. You know, and sometimes they let the hook dictate what they're gonna put on the verses. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, you know, so when they put that clever shit on there, it's just like, okay, expect it. You know what I mean?
Okay. And since 40 puts out so much stuff, like you had the Somebody on the D Boy book volume one, or book one, I
Mm-hmm.
should say. And that one, we got a little Freddie Jackson homage on that one. But um, how do you balance creating something that's completely original versus building something off a sample?
Ah, now that's the okay. I prefer not to redo nothing. You know what I mean? I prefer to not do a remake, but I do them so good. They like, bro, I need you. I can't. I didn't try it with this producer. I didn't try it with that producer. I need you to redo this. I just like, damn, I got to do another. Like right now, I'm doing something for Sugar Free, and you remember the yellow orchestra, the Yellow
Oh
Magic
yeah.
Orchestra. Okay, I'm redoing that. Sugar Free, no, I'm the only one that can pull that off. You know, I got it right now up on my thing right now. I'll play for you in a minute. But they know that I can do it. So I do what they ask for because, you know, I like to keep my clients happy. But, you know, I say, by the way, check these out. And then I hand them some original stuff. And, you know, they be like, okay, yeah, yeah. Oh, I like this one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't let nobody hear this one. You know, so that's how that works.
Okay.
Feel me? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because on the E40 you did, I had it in a drought off of Outstanding.
Yeah.
When I heard the singing on that, I just was
Mm-hmm.
like, this is hilarious that Outstanding into I had it in a
Mm-hmm.
drought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know, it was funny because when I was doing it, and you know, when the beat stopped, he goes, "Ugh," right? So I told him to send me him saying that on video. So I sampled it and put it in there because I thought it was funny because he always, man, yeah, I don't know, man, in a good way. 40 is the stupidest dude I've ever been friends with in my life, man. I can't never take him serious when he's talking because half the time I don't understand what he's saying. I was like, dude,
Okay.
can you kind of like put that in on earth terms? You know what I mean? So like that's my dude. That's my big brother, man. I love that dude, man.
Yeah.
I love
Well,
working with him. I love talking to him, you know.
well, back, how did you end up meeting and getting in the mix with 40 back in the day?
I knew his sister first. I knew Sugar T first. And then I had a cousin named Wavy, David Green. He was managing Mac 10. And one time they were in the studio at Pajama Studios So I went up to Pajama Studios because I used to be an engineer there. So I just went up there because I knew my cousin was up there. So E40 was sitting down on the ground, laying down on the ground, writing some lyrics. So I walked in there and I said, okay, that's E40, right? So I was just like, what's up, man? He looked at me, hey, what's up, man? He's writing. I said, man, what you drinking on, man? So, man, he was drinking some Carlos Rossi. I said, man, can I get some of that? He was like, nah, man, this is my personal shit. And I was just like, man, it's an asshole, right? In my mind, so this nigga's an asshole, right? I was just like, whatever, man. So then I just sat there, was looking stupid. So I said, let me walk away. And he's like, man, what's your name, man? I said, I'm C-Funk. And he looked at me. He said, C-Funk? From East Palo Alto? I said, yeah. He said, you mean the nigga that cussed out KML on the air because they wouldn't let me perform at Summer Jam? I said, yeah. He said, man, go get you a cup. And we hit it on from right then and there because I went bad on the radio station for not letting them perform. They let me talk on the air. They said, look, whatever you do, don't say nothing negative about us not letting E40 perform. I said, I ain't going to do that, man. And as soon as they put me on, I did just that. I went off because I went to Summer Jam to see E40 perform. And I waited all day and they didn't let that man perform because of something that happened backstage. I don't want to get into that, but you know, I know you heard it was a big fight. So yeah.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Sound 5 on Yo MTV Back with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.